Strut removal tool. Problem: the suspension design on front-wheel drive Ford Motor Company vehicles such as Taurus, Contour, Windstar, Cougar, and Mystique has made the front and rear strut removal difficult and time-consuming. Solution: a versatile strut removal tool which reduces the time and effort to separate the strut assembly from the knuckle by approximately 60%. The following video is for a typical removal and installation for both the front and rear of a vehicle. For specific applications, please follow the instructions that are enclosed with your strut removal tool. Lift the vehicle and do inspection. Check all related parts for looseness and wear. Note any tire wear patterns that may be visible. Lower the vehicle to alignment height. Lift the front end with a jack under the subframe so the suspension hangs freely and supports safely. Remove the ABS wire if equipped. Remove the bolt from the brake line. Use 2 suitable wrenches to remove the upper end of the sway bar link. Because this is a self-locking nut, the use of an impact wrench is not recommended. Doing so will spin the stud inside the sway bar link and cause wear in the link. Remove the cotter pin and nut from the ball joint. Using a suitable tool, remove the tie rod end. Remove the nut and pinch bolt from the knuckle. To separate the knuckle from the bottom of the strut, place the proper adapter collar around the bottom of the strut on top of the knuckle. Place the fulcrum on top of the collar just installed. Take the lever, making sure that the long tabs are facing upward, and work it between the uprights of the fulcrum, ensuring to hook the tabs behind the lower spring plate or under the side tabs on the strut. Install an appropriate notch of fulcrum. Push down on the handle until the knuckle moves down approximately 3 inches. Remove the lever and fulcrum as one assembly and remove the collar from the strut. Reinstall the tool as an assembly with the fulcrum against the knuckle. Install the crossbar across the top of the lever underneath the sway bar bracket on the side of the strut. While pushing down on the grip end of the lever, move the lever handle toward the car door. This will cause the knuckle to roll off the bottom of the strut. Go up to the top of the strut tower under the hood and remove the 3 nuts holding the strut to the inner fender. You are now ready to remove the strut assembly. Installing the strut. Putting the strut back into the vehicle is straightforward. From inside the fender, work the 3 studs up through their respective holes and finger tighten the 3 nuts. Using the bracket at the bottom of the strut as a reference, rotate the strut about 30 degrees toward the toe-out direction. Rotate the knuckle to the same position. Make sure the ABS wire and brake hose are on the outside of the strut. Using a round pry bar, rotate the knuckle to the proper angle. In order to make the bracket align with the split in the knuckle, use a round pry bar in the hole in the sway bar bracket to twist the strut to the proper position. Using a small bottle jack, push the knuckle on the strut until it is in the proper position to install the pinch bolt. It may be helpful to tap on the side of the knuckle with a hammer to ease reinstallation. Insert the pinch bolt and nut and torque to manufacturer's specification. Reinstall the tie rod through the knuckle and torque the nut to manufacturer's specification, and install a new cotter pin if equipped. From the top of the strut tower, torque the 3 nuts to manufacturer's specification. Reinstall the sway bar link. Torque the nut to manufacturer's specification. Reinstall and tighten bolt for the brake line. Reinstall the ABS wire. Removal and reinstallation of the rear strut is similar to that of the front. Remove the lower sway bar link hardware on both sides of the vehicle. Remove bolt for the brake line. If the vehicle has drum brakes, carefully bend the brake line to allow tool access. Remove the pinch bolt. Position the long split collar around the tab on strut with open end of split facing upwards. Place the fulcrum on the top of collar just installed. Place the lever through uprights of the fulcrum with the long tabs up behind the lower spring plate in the highest notch. Push down on the handle until the knuckle moves down about 1.5 inches. The fulcrum will hit the tab on the strut. Place the fulcrum around the strut directly on the top of knuckle. Note, certain vehicles require positioning the fulcrum at an angle a little toward the front of the vehicle. Place the lever through the uprights of the fulcrum with the short tabs facing upward. Place crossbar across the lever under the sway bar bracket of the strut. Position the lever in the middle notch of the fulcrum. Push down on the lever until the knuckle is completely off the bottom of the strut. Removal of the top strut plate can be accomplished from the interior of the vehicle. Reinstallation. Place a small bottle jack in position under the knuckle. Jack up the knuckle, making sure the tab on the rear of the strut is indexed properly to the split in the knuckle. It may be necessary to tap on the side of the knuckle with a hammer to ease reinstallation. Continue jacking until the knuckle is at the proper position to install the pinch bolt. Apply Loctite to pinch bolt and torque to manufacturer's specification. Replace bolt for brake line. Reinstall sway bar links on both sides only after both struts have been changed. Now you may proceed to align the vehicle.